friends, we just picked up the excavator, as you saw, and sometimes getting in these places is easier than getting out. It's easier to turn into a wide spot than to go from the wide spot back into a more narrow part of the road. So let me cut my locking rear differential off. I think I've got plenty of room. We're gonna find out here, ain't we? So this is what we're got, a tree here and a tree there that we just got to barely miss. I really don't want to scuff my pretty newer truck up. Oh yeah, I think we. Oh yeah, I think we got it. Oh yeah, maybe. Skinner back, Irene. Oh yeah, now we'll work our way down this country road. Alright, let's make sure everything is still chained good. Alright, let's just check everything over here. I think we is, ooh my, a little squished out. I'll have to put some air in those. Everything looks good. I got my I-beam chained down. What? Back and have it. Well, that pin's trying to work his way out. As you can see, I just put a couple of tack welds on there. Reason was I was doing a grading job and I got that bolt head against a tree and it sheared it right off. Same size bolts as this. They're grade 8, but not that tough apparently when it comes to a 20,000 pound machine rubbing against a tree. So these pins are tight and I really don't see it being more, or it's actually going to be less work to me to just cut that pin keeper than to try to drill and tap and get that bolt out. So let's just run back to the house and get the old welder out, and we'll just really weld that pin keeper to the boom. I'm sure some people are going to be like, what are you doing, you're crazy? And then there'll probably be some people saying I'd have done the same thing. Well, that will fix the problem and fix it quickly. So let's head that way. I had a feeling I should have just welded the hound out of that pin keeper the first time, but I erred, how you say that? Erred on the side of caution. Let's turn our brakes up just a titch. I don't know what that was. That was probably a chunk of concrete. He was grading that hillside out, and that's a big chunk of concrete. I don't know if you guys saw me load it. I said, you want me to load that up? He said, if you don't mind. I said, let's do it. He hired me to load it out, so we loaded him out. Today's plan was going to be to haul the excavator to the yard, and I got a bunch of plastic pipe I want to haul to the dump, and I've got a bunch of metal pipe. I've got an old piece of junk bush hog that I've had for a while that's junk. I was going to haul all my metal to the metal recycling place and make a little bit of money on it. Never ever, you guys that are starting into this, just throw metal away. Don't just haul it to the dump or the transfer station, landfill, whatever you want to call it, or whatever they call it in your area. Don't just throw it away. Take it to a metal recycling place and get your few cents per pound. It does add up. Metal in general is heavy, it adds up. The lighter metals, like aluminum, pay even better. So pound for pound. So that was going to be the plan, and I was kind of excited about it, but that's not happening. I don't think I'll have time by the time I go and drag my little welder out. I've got one of those little Miller 140s. I think it's a Miller Multi-Matic. It's been so long since I used it, I don't even remember what it was. And we're just going to weld this pin back in. That's going to be my little project for the day. Tomorrow, we've got what I think's between 1 and 3 days of forestry mulching. It's going to be fun. The reason I say 1 to 3 days is because they told me it was 2,000 feet of old logging road, and I was basing the quote on pictures. I really didn't want to take an hour drive out there just to look at the thing. And they were okay with that range. I'm charging them $1,500 per 8-hour day. No other YouTuber out here that I've seen is telling what they charge, and I don't know why. You don't see McDonald's hiding their prices. To me, we're all very close, and there's so many little factors of how long it's going to take somebody to do it. Even though I say, okay, I charge $1,500 for an 8-hour day, nobody's going to do that job at the exact same rate. They're not going to do the exact same way. Some people will do a crap job. Some people would do an amazingly good job. The idea is to go in, mulch everything out, and get it at least walkable. By the time I'm done, it'll be drivable. I'm going to give them a really good job, but I'm not going to lollygag. Forestry mulching is a great thing to get into if you're in an area where land sells a lot, because people in general can't look at a raw piece of land, especially if it's got a ton of underbrush, and see what it could be. So people like you and me go in there with this forestry mulcher that erases all of that brush, gets rid of it, and they can now see what they've got or what they're looking at buying. We do quite a bit of work for real estate agents, property owners, stuff like that. You're getting into excavation and grading to make a living, and probably because you think you're going to like it. I love it. I think it's great. And with an excavator, you can dig dirt, you can put dirt in, you can pull trees, you can push trees over, you can clean trees up, you can clean brush up, you can put all kinds of attachments on one. So once you've got the platform, the excavator, you're ready to do all kinds of stuff. It's like having a really strong employee. A really strong employee. How many people can you hire that can pick up a small one? Can pick up mine, I think, picks up 6,000 pounds. A big machine will pick up tons and tons and tons. So it just depends on how strong of an employee you want. Let me go ahead and give you guys a couple of shout outs of some comparable channels to me. Elite Earthworks, definitely one of my favorites. If you type it in, it's actually Elite Earthworks LLC. His name's Brandon. Great guy, man. His videos are great, and it changes. You want to watch a YouTuber that does all different kinds of stuff. If you're wanting to learn to do excavation and grading, don't watch somebody that only does footers, only does septic tanks. Watch people that do all different kinds of stuff, because that's where your job security comes in. If the housing market kind of dries up, so will septic service, so will just site prep. But then you're going to get into the maintenance, property maintenance stuff. Culverts get clogged up, driveways wash away. People start doing maintenance, and that's what you need to advertise for in slower economies. In booming, great economies, land is selling, houses are being built, that's when you switch over to site prep. You've got to be prepared to make those quick swaps back and forth. Luckily, you can do with the same machine and same attachments, you can get all kinds of work. I should have warned you guys that this particular video was going to be a lot of talking. I know a lot of you guys are just out here for the entertainment and watching the machines dig, sound of the machines, but the vast majority of my viewers are those who are starting in this business and are needing help. I had a viewer on the last job, the demolition job, asked me, he's like, man, I really need help with my bidding on demolition, and it can be tricky, but like on that job, you know, you could look at it, it was cut and dry. You've got blocks, all of them are the same. You can calculate the weight and how many of them there are, and you can figure up your tonnage. Now your time, that is an experience thing, and that's something you're going to eat a lot of when when you first start in the business. If you bid too high, say you think it's going to take you 40 hours and it's a one-day job, you're going to bid it and you're going to lose out every time you bid too high. Because there's going to be somebody out there that knows almost to the half hour how long it's going to take them to do that job. So when you're starting in the business, you're fresh to the area, nobody knows you. If you want to get the work, you're going to have to eat some time. And you're going to have to bid pretty low. Now that doesn't mean that you're not, you know, a blind squirrel gets a nut once in a while. So you may bid high and get to your first job and be like, oh God, I'm going to make a fortune, and then you don't win a bid for 2 months. Those are the people who are like, oh, I don't know what happened. So just as a general in-between guideline, and you guys drop in the comments, tell us, you know, if you want to in your area, don't tell us where you're at. You know, you don't want to lose your edge, but just throw some numbers out here for everybody. You know, if all contractors worked together, we would all prosper. Fighting each other and competing, we're dragging each other down. We're grabbing each other by the pants and trying to pull ourselves up, and you're not getting up. You're not going to go higher. All you're doing is dragging that other person down. So if it was a perfect world, we'd all work together. Anyway, drop in the comments, you know, what is your size machine? What machine do you use? What types of work do you do? And how much are you charging? There's going to be people sitting there saying, there's no way I'm telling that. But if you don't tell where you're at, you're not going to really hurt yourself. In our area, let's just say a 35. You know, like a 7,500 pound machine, excavator, digging work and stuff, you can make between $750 and $950 a day. Pretty easily. You know, the flatter the ground, the easier the job, the less picky it is about how on grade you have to be. Now you jump up to say like a 12,000 pound machine, you're going to be able to bid between $950 and $1,250. Now these are median prices. You know, some jobs you may have to go lower or higher than these numbers, but I'm just giving you a general idea. Now like my size machine, I consistently charge anywhere from $1,250 to $1,800 a day, depending on whether I'm digging, running the forestry mulching head. If I'm hitting rock a lot, it's higher. If I'm not hitting rock and I'm just digging in the dirt, you know, $1,500 all day long, you know. Now I have a buddy that I talked to that lives out toward the coast of North Carolina, and he's got like a 35 or 40,000 pound machine, and he only makes about $1,500 per day. How's that work? That is where your local market is in effect, and it will always be in effect. I can do a bush hogging job in my area and make $950, $1,200, whereas my hometown, they might make $375 to $450 for the same job. So if you're in an area of lower economy, you don't have a whole lot of businesses, i.e. you got a big town like Asheville, North Carolina, or Raleigh, North Carolina, you can charge a lot more for a job, and people are willing to pay more in those areas as opposed to a tiny town. And I'm not even going to bother naming any because nobody's going to know where they are. Another thing, excavation and grading, dump truck service. That is an equally tough one to bid. And I'm not going to really bother telling what I charge because mine changed drastically between what I'm hauling. You know, I charge more for riprap than 3/4 because it's harder on the bed. It beats up the truck works. But like, I make the same in my area as tri-axles. Actually, I make more. I charge more, I make more, people are willing to pay it because my little trucks can get where they need them to be. They're not going to have to shovel and wheelbarrow material to the spot they need it. So, dump truck services, you can figure anywhere from, geez, it goes from 60 bucks to say 125 an hour, average. And that's a huge margin. And you pay for consistency. If you work for the quarry here, I think they average like 80 bucks an hour. For tri-axles, I think closer to 90 or 100. And those guys own those trucks. I still don't know how they operate those things at that price. If I tried that, I would go broke. But those guys are running from 7 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're pretty well running all day long at those rates. I can't imagine working 10 hours, a tri-axle dump truck, and only make, say, 800 bucks. Now, I will admit, I don't know if the driver gets paid a percentage of what the material pays. I don't think they do. You guys comment and let us know in your area, if you run for a quarry, how does it work? I know some actually pay by the ton, not by the hour. And some people charge by the haul. So there's so many different ways to structure it. And a lot of times how you structure it and how it sounds to a customer, either you'll get the job or not. It's that simple. Bidding jobs will not always be hard. It will not always be something that you have to sit down with pen and paper and spend an hour and a half running the numbers. If you're doing light excavation and grading, it will get to where you can walk up, meet somebody, look at the job for 1 minute and say, I'll do it for this much, or I'll do it for that much. It will change, and it'll also change as to how much you need to work. It's a constantly changing thing. I don't bid jobs to be competitive. I bid jobs to do them the way that I know they should be done and what it's going to take to do them right. I have won a lot of bids, and the customer tell me that I was quite a bit higher than the other person, but I was more thorough in telling them what I'm going to do and exactly how I'm going to do it, and they definitely like it when you send it in either a text, email, or written format. That way they've got something in their hand that tells them the recipe for how you're going to do their job. And I guarantee my pricing. If I can't go into a job and give them a guarantee, I won't just say I don't want the job, but I tell them, you know, I'm going to have to bid it high just in case I run into something. So it comes down to the way that you want to handle any situation, what you're comfortable with. You're not going to be comfortable with a whole lot of situations if you go into doing this type of work and you've never even ran an excavator. And believe it or not, I have a whole lot of viewers that have never touched a machine. They don't know anything about it. They don't even know how to run the controls. And I have seen those people grow. I get messages from them and they tell me they watched all my videos, they learned from me, and they're doing good. It's not necessarily the best or easiest way to learn an occupation, but you can. And you guys go back, and if you want to, and I've got playlists for just driveway repairs, excavation and grading. I've got a plethora of how-to videos. You know, the hosting is lacking. I am not the best personality on YouTube, but I keep you guys in mind. Anytime I'm describing how to do something, it's you I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about that person who doesn't have a clue what I'm talking about. They don't have the terminology. They don't know what it means to cut a grade. And I put it into terms that they can understand. And it's elementary. I imagine anybody who knows about this stuff, you know, and you're wanting to watch big machines work, you got Let's Dig 18. That's entertainment, you know. I'm definitely more educational geared. So let's go up here and we'll weld this pin keeper back on, and I'll actually go through hooking up the little welder and what I'm actually going to do. I don't have a lens for the camera so you guys can watch the puddle build and all that, unfortunately, but I'll go over what I'm doing, why and how, and we'll get this thing sewed up. sun back in there. Now, hey. Might take a little bit more doing. Tell you one thing, I'm about to weld the fool out of this. You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. That pin is tight. That sucker is tight. And I don't have to beat and bang on that thing again. When that pin came out, it twisted a little bit, and I could have just welded it like it was, but got a little bit of OCD, so we got to do this somewhat the right way. You betcha. What the hell? That's what's happening. Yes, sir. Oh, good. Real good. Well, this sucker will stay. It'll be the next owner's problem how to get it off of there. You bet. Let's see. That part's still clean from where I grounded it before. Oh, we got the leaves coming down now. Yes, sir. Get my welding hood and we'll get to this. We're about to get this thing fixed. You bet. I will tell y'all right now, and I've said it once, I've said it before, if you're going to be in this business, you might as well learn to weld. At least enough just to get the stuff to stay together, because everything is metal and it breaks. Metal will give out eventually. And when it does, you can either fix it yourself and be up and running quickly, or you can wait on a welder to show up, which is going to cost you an arm and a leg. And I don't like waiting, so improvise. Get you a little welder. This is the Miller Matic 215. It can do MIG welding, it can do stick welding, and with a TIG rig, I can TIG weld. I can't TIG weld aluminum, that requires a high frequency machine, but you know, you work with what you got. This is a handy little machine, and it's a multi-voltage plug, so you can run on regular wall outlet or like a 50 amp outlet, I think it is. So let's see how this thing welds. Well, I know how the machine welds. Not very good because I don't have a really good power supply. Obviously, it didn't do too good a job on that repair the first time around. But we shall see. Let's just see what happens here. I know what's going to happen. Let's get the pound welded out of it. That's what's about to happen. We'll make something go down, ain't we? This side. On fire! Well then, turkey. Go ahead and weld this other weld. Now I'm gonna get my grinder, clean up a bigger area here, weld it too. Oh yeah, that ain't gonna break. Let me get my grinder. Big time. Alright, let's see just how bad it is. Oh yeah, that's pretty terrible. But I'm okay with it. Get my little brush here. Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. Oh, awful. You know what? It'll hold. What's that? Y'all really want to see it? Fine. That definitely would not pass. Oh boy, am I out of practice. Horribly. Undercut. At least it didn't have porosity. Not very proud of that one. Other stuff right here. All cleaned up. Tidy up around my yard. Ended up having to go to the truck shop to get some tires aired up. My yard is a mess. I got random junk everywhere, and by everywhere I mean everywhere. I've been needing to tidy up a little bit just to keep the nice lady who rents this property to me happy. These are my collection of I-beams that I cut my grading beam from the other day. Sand there. Anybody who has a yard, I'm sure you feel my pain. I don't know where I'm going to set these beams for their long-term home. What I would like to do is do something with this wood. Kind of consolidates. Push back out of the way a little bit more. Maybe you guys can see better with that view. A little bit wobbly, isn't it? My plan, well, sometime this winter I'm going to burn all of this. I just need to move it back a little bit farther. Let me just shut this thing up for a minute to explain. So we did a good little cleanup slash clearing job, and I had Brandon, who was working for me at the time, bring everything over to here and dump it out, because anytime you haul material out you can charge, and I charged the same as if what it was going to cost me to haul it plus dump it at the stump dump part who grinds this stuff up. And so I'm trying to concentrate on 2 things at one time, sorry. Plus the haul bill. So I typically charge $100 a load. To dump it would have been 40, so that's 140 bucks. We hauled a bunch of loads over here and charged the same, because whether it gets disposed of for 40 bucks at the stump yard or here for 40 bucks, doesn't matter to the customer, but it matters to me because I make a little extra money. So one day this winter, when it's snowing or raining and I don't have anything else to do and the machine is here, hopefully I end up with a day that it's here, I'll come over here and sit and burn and watch it snow and have a big time. Let me get this back open. That's my plan. So I'm just kind of moving this around. You can see how damp it gets inside of these brush tiles. Quite damp. It's kind of taking up space. So that catch basin job we did not too long ago, this was the concrete. You can see where the square was for the box. See where I want to put this at. I've got a small collection of concrete posts right here, so I'm going to set all the concrete there. Under this tarp, I've got a bunch of old chain link fence that we ripped out on a project, and we brought it here to just let it rot. It'll get burned with the other pile of wood, and what'll be left other than ash will just be metal, and we'll be able to put it all together, haul it away to the recycling center. I don't really like how this looks out here, so I'm just going to kind of stuff it back there a little bit more. Here we have a little bit of junk plastic pipe. Junk, I say. Plastic pipe around the corner here. See, I don't always have the excavator here, so I have to just dump this stuff out of the truck wherever, but I try to keep it halfway separated. I don't know if you guys can see, but right here is a bunch of other junk pipe. We're just going to grab all of this. Of course that thing would get hung on there, wouldn't it? Got a little bit of dirt in it, but that's alright. Well, that old plastic is separated. course you would. 8-foot load. Road fabric. Send it out of the way. Like I said, an excavator is like a really strong helper. Y'all are pretty bored if you've enjoyed this video today. Wish I had something more fun in the video, but just not the case. Not today, anyhow. A little bit of cleanup, a little bit of repair. Now then. Now then. Put this mulching hat on. Tomorrow. One more time and it should do it. We got all our hoses hooked up, case drain hooked up. Ooh, hammer that back into place. Let's squeeze this head up real quick. One. Spin that head a quarter turn with each pump. That. Show y'all the business end of this guy. He's got, I think, 18 fixed teeth. It is a bad dude. So it need to be sharpened just a touch. But what we're doing tomorrow, a bunch of saplings about that big around. These don't have to be sharp. It's going to zip right through them either way. Guys, thanks for coming along with me today. That was just a bunch of miscellaneous messing around type of things. But tomorrow we're going to be putting this mulching head to use on, it's pretty much an old logging road that's an access to a property that is up for sale, and the real estate agent reached out to me to come in and mulch all the saplings that have grown up through the roadbed and a lot of the saplings and mountain laurel that have grown in from the sides. So that's where this machine really shines. The skid steer type machines work best for flat ground, but when you've got to reach up onto bank sides and stuff, this machine does really good. I'm looking forward to getting our 60-inch mowing head for this machine. This is just a 36-inch, so a 60-inch is really exciting. It's going to increase our production, and I look forward to showing you guys how well it works or how not well it works, and that way you can decide if it's an attachment for you. So trust me, not all videos have been boring like today, but you know, sometimes you get what you get. I want to thank all of you who watch every single one of my videos. It really makes a difference. You make a difference in our lives. Kelly, me, Emma, and we look forward to making these videos for y'all. This little business is growing, and it's growing quite rapidly, about as fast as we want it to, and we've almost reached as big as we want to get, but we are going to be adding on bigger dump truck, more attachments, more machines, and we look forward to growing with you. So if you like excavation, grading, demolition, how-to videos, and what seems to be one of my viewers' favorites is culvert jobs, whether it's a little bitty 8-inch culvert or a 4-foot diameter culvert. If you like that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button and join us on future videos. In the meantime, feel free to go down below, click on the DigginLife21 little thing here. Where is it here? Somewhere down here. Click on it. I've got playlists for driveway repairs, grading, excavation, demolition, culvert work, everything. Everything you could need to know or might want to know. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully you're having a great day. I know I am. We'll see y'all.